Christie Richard Reece, star in SYFY'S The Ark, Season 2, just premiered. New episodes on Wednesday. Thank you all so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
You know, the crazy part is this show is set 100 years in the future, but it feels like with all the news that we're hearing about, you know, possible life on Mars and on Venus, like this could happen like anytime.
Yes. I think that's what is so amazing about Dean and Jonathan is that it's still based in reality. You know what I mean? It's 100 years in the future, but it's not that far away when you really think about it.
So Arc 1 is done. We're looking for a new place. Richard, if you want to tell us a little bit about what we can expect. I mean, maybe fans who missed the first episode and kind of the arc that we're going to see, or the arc that we're going to see in the new season.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to encapsulate everything that's going to happen in this season because I'm sure, as these two will back me up in saying, we've crammed, I guess, 4 seasons worth of story and shock and craziness into 12 episodes. And so obviously the first season, we had a lot of exploring of who people were and why we were there and backstories of what it was this show was even trying to say and who we were and what our motives were and stuff. And now we've just taken that and leapfrogged ahead and now things are going to take crazy turns right the way through. So yeah, just buckle up to everyone watching because it gets pretty crazy pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'll get to everybody as far as like their arcs and what we got to see in season number 1. But Reece, let's start with you, especially with Lane. A lot of people considered him the villain at the beginning, and we got to kind of see his journey, you know, kind of shape throughout the first season.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to play because, you know, he's kind of disgruntled. He's kind of power hungry at the beginning throughout season 1. And then gradually he kind of starts to soften and starts to sort of see Garnett as a more competent leader than he'd originally thought. So that was a lot of fun to play around with. And I think by the end of season 1, we kind of learned that Lane was just an ambitious child, really, that kind of grows up throughout this first season. And season 2, oh, wow. Hold on to your hats because, yeah. Not a lot I can tell you about it, but it's bigger, better, stronger, and more surprises. A lot more.
Well, cannot wait. Christie, let's talk a little bit about Garnett because, you know, moving into that leadership role. I mean, talk a little bit about what that meant for you and where we're going to see her in the beginning of the new season.
Oh, for me, I think being the captain of a spaceship was like crazy, especially since there's such few female captains of spaceships. So I felt like a lot of pressure to live up to all of that. And then as far as Garnett's storyline goes, I think in season 1, we saw someone who was like leading more from her head. And in season 2, we see someone who's leading more from her heart. And does that make her a better leader? You know, we'll find out, I guess. But she gets to have more relationships that aren't just based in leadership. So I'm really excited for audiences to see that.
That is amazing. We cannot wait. Richard, as far as Bryce goes, you know, he had one way of life beforehand. He met Ava and things kind of changed for him. You know, talk a little bit about, you know, maybe his mindset in season number 2.
Yeah, it's very different. It was a real watershed moment for him because his whole motives for getting on the Ark in the first place was essentially a suicide mission. He believed, you know, he was going to try and go out in a blaze of glory, and that whole thing has changed now. He's been saved and he's no longer ill, and obviously he's met someone he cares about. He's made great friends. And he's in service of the ship, and he's happy with the leadership of Garnett, and he's made great friends with Lane. And so you find a man in season 2 who's got a lot to live for, which is completely the opposite of where we found him. So it's a big change. It was lovely to play.
Awesome. Well, we cannot wait to continue to watching the season, the Ark season 2 on SYFY. New episodes on Wednesday. Thank you all so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Cheers.
Take care.